Greetings and salutations. My name is Tiedra, the visionary and founder of Kingsskid, where we educate individuals on how God creates, covers, carries, and crowns us in personal, professional, and mentor-mentee development. So our guest today is edknox. And for those of you all that don't know, Ed is babe. So he's the one that's behind the scenes, always motivating me and pushing me to do what it is that God has called me to do. The next thing he does is edit my blog. So if you see something that comes back to you, it's another reason why, because he's like, babe, we need to edit that. So I'm super excited because Ed and I today will be talking about customer service strategies. A lot of people may know, but a lot of people may not know. Ed has over 20 years of experience in customer service. So he deals with it on an everyday basis. He is in it. There's never a dull day. There are times where I enjoy talking about his work days because it's always an adventure. And the thing that I love about Ed in regards to his job is the fact that he is always happy and excited to help. He is truly a servant leader. But that's also why I said yes. So, Ed, I'm so glad to have you. I'm so excited. How you
I'm
feel?
glad to be here. I'm really excited. So I'm in the hot seat today, so let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so the first question, I ask this question to everybody. So, of course, I have to ask it to you. What does living a crown life mean to you?
Living a crown life to me is serving others. Serving others. I think that's my crown to wear. I think it was given to me by God. Patience, everything that goes with serving others, humbling yourself. I think that's my crown to wear is serving others.
So, the next question I have for you is what prompted you to start your journey into customer service? Did you just say, hey, I'm going to go and start a career out into customer service? Like, let's talk through that. Because you don't really hear anyone say, when I grow up, I want to be in customer service. So let's talk about that journey. How did we get here?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. It is a funny story how I actually came into customer service, finding my own in customer service. And I always wanted to be in management, leadership. And I always said, I want to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm directed to do this. I have trained for this and that and this. But somehow, when God says, I think you need to be over here, and you ignore the signs and you do your thing. Yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And, I'm managing this. But then God places you back where He wants you, where your mission is. And it happened to be customer service for me.
So, since we're on this topic of customer service, at its core, what is customer service? Define customer service for us.
All right, I'm going to do it at the layman's term.
Okay.
It is the assistance and advice provided by a company for those who buy or use a product or service. Simple.
Simple, simple, simple.
I said as simple
So,
as
so why is it so hard? Why do we have so many organizations or so many people that are a lot of times not happy with the type of service that they receive? If it's so simple, why are we still having this problem?
well, for one, some companies greed. They don't care about the customer. They care about turning out products or services. And once you buy it, you're on your own. And that's the way some companies feel, and that's what they do. And when a customer has to call back and they're wondering, why am I talking to 6 or 7 people to get an answer or get something resolved? And it shouldn't have to be that way. It should be one person. And if it needs to be upgraded, we understand that. And sometimes it does. So it shouldn't take no more than 2 people to resolve a call. Really, one, I say, but 2 at the most to resolve any customer issue.
So a lot of times the role or the job or the calling of customer service is not really hard. It's the processes that these organizations that have in place that makes it sometimes hard, or even the red tape or the red lining that the employee have to go through to service that customer. So it's a lot of things as a consumer we don't see that the organizations have built up.
That is correct. It
Okay.
is a lot of red tape, and it shouldn't be. When a customer asks for a certain service or about a certain service, um, they should have answers. It should be simple answers. My account, it said I owe $50 and I paid $50. So why is it still coming back saying I owe? That should be simple mathematics. Okay, let me take a look and repeat what they just asked you to look for. Give me a moment. Let me find out. I'm gonna go over your account and I'm gonna just review everything and I'm gonna get back with you and give you an answer. Simple. You don't have to leave a person on long. If it's taking longer, come back 30 seconds intervals and say, hey, I'm still working on this. This is what I'm doing. I had to ask some more questions to someone else, but we're still working on it, and we have a resolve pretty soon. So just hang in.
So that's from an organization standpoint. Let's talk about when it's a business, but it's a one-person business. For example, with Kingsskid, you see Tiedra. There, of course, there are people that are supporting me and helping me, but we're not at the place yet to where we have a full payroll. So for
Right.
the person that has it's a one-man band that has this, something like what I have with Kingsskid, but I also have to maintain my household. And guess who's in my household? You. So, so let's talk about the person that they have their business, their organization, but then they have household responsibilities. They're involved in other things. Let's talk about how do they provide customer service, good customer service, to have people to come back and want to buy from them on a consistent basis. What would that look like for someone like me?
Okay. For an individual or 2 individuals that's running the company, you have to place the customer first. You have a service or a product that you're providing. So in doing that, when customers reach out to you and have a question, you should humble yourself and listen, even though if it's critique about your product or service. And it's okay to get a critique from customers. That's fine. That only helps you expand and let you know if this person thinking that way, maybe several more are thinking that way. So you can nip it in the bud right there. And once you do, you can let that customer know, hey, thank you for your input. And this is what we have in plan, and this is how we're going to resolve that. And once they hear that, whoa, they called me back and they let me know the plan of action and what they did. They actually listened to me. And that means a lot. And that's word of mouth. Hey, when I called Kingsskid, they took care of my problem or my questions that I had. And that goes a long way when you can answer questions.
And I think that's the beauty of having things small right now, because I know sometimes I get caught up in wanting, can't wait till Kingsskid get big and huge, but I really love the fact that it's small because I can do that one-on-one right now. So there's one subscriber in particular, she was starting a new leadership role and saying, hey, do you have some books for me? You know, I'm starting this new leadership role. Do you have some books? I was like, yes, these are the books that I've read and I highly recommend them. These are the books that I want to read but haven't read, but I've heard great reviews about them. And then
Right.
in my email, once I was getting webinars on leadership or how to manage a team for the first time, I'll forward all of those to her to say, hey, these are some resources you might want to look into. And I think just offering that, sometimes my product or service, it may not be the answer, and that's okay, but helping them find the answer and meeting them where they are, it shows them that I care. And I tell them in the blogs, I read all of those emails. Anytime somebody respond back to me, I'm reading it, and it just really makes my heart do a little flutter. Makes my heart do.
It's nice to get response and good response and even encouragement for
Yeah.
you to change something or something that you need to, or something else that you need for your company or your services. And that helps as well.
So, and it does help. So what are the ramifications of not offering great customer service experience?
The ramification. Okay,
Yes.
here we go. The ramification
Drop
for
these jewels. Drop them.
losing customers, and also may lose your business because you lose customers, because that's what your company thrives on, is customer. So you lose customers, you have no business. So that's the end of story.
So what are the results of having and providing great customer service experiences?
Woohoo! Glad you asked. Because that means more customers. And more customers means more money, more growth, and word of mouth will take you even higher.
And I agree. I agree. What has been one of the best customer services experiences that you've been able to provide your customers at your current job? I know you have plenty, but I want you to share what was one experience to where it looked bleak and you helped turn that thing around to where the customer was happy.
Wow.
And so,
Um,
and to preface this, let me set it up. So Ed works for a major airline. In him working for that major airline, he don't work at the corporate office. He's in the airport having one-on-one interaction with these individuals.
yes.
So he's frontline, day in, day out. Sometimes he's working long hours. So that's why I'm asking him, because even in this, there are days where I'm still asking him, how's your day? And he's like, oh, it was good. And I'm just like, okay. So I want you to share one of your experiences at work, because that's mainly where the customer service experience came from. And then I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay. Thinking about one working in baggage claim. One particular young lady didn't know this at first, just came from a funeral and she did not have her bag. And within this bag that she was wanting had some of her relatives of just the one that just passed, some of her things, personal items that she left her that was in that bag. And I did not know this. She just cried, boohooed and cried because she didn't have that bag. And I said, well, hey, let me research, let me do something, let me find out. I said, I have all the empathy for you. I'm sorry about your passing, after she went into her story and told the story. So what I did, I said, you know what, after I looked up and saw that the bag did leave where she was, so I said, it's strange, the bag should be here. And something told me to go outside and put a tub. We would put a tub because sometimes in the carousel, it'll get clogged up and the bag will not come up. So I put a couple of tubs and it pushed the bag up and out of the carousel. It was stuck in the carousel. And when it came out, she just boo-hooed and cried. And she said, I thank you. Oh, it meant so much. If I didn't have that bag, you know, it would worry me to death because it meant my aunt meant so much to me. And she was just so happy. And somehow somebody turned on some music and we started to dance and
Y'all
back.
danced. Y'all was salsa. Y'all was
And
doing the salsa.
I had that recording. And she was so happy. Oh man, it made me happy, you know, because it turned a tear to joy just by doing something a little extra or innovating thinking to do something or try something just a little bit further to help somebody. That's all it takes, just a little bit, a smile, or hey, I'm gonna look further into this. It really helps.
It does, because even as you were telling your story, I thought about one of my experiences to where I was coming from, I think it was San Antonio. I was coming from San Antonio and going to LA for grad school. And literally, the news while we were at this conference had dropped that it was a major flood in Baton Rouge. And of course, we all were celebrating throughout the conference. But as I was sitting there, I was like, I'm about to get on this flight to go home, and my city it's in shambles, and there's nothing I could do about it. And I didn't cry in an airport, but when I got on a plane, that's when I actually just cried. And as I started to shed tears, the guy over the intercom, he was just cracking jokes. And so as he was doing all the things that you do in the airplane, telling you your directions and stuff like that, they were all jokes. And I didn't, at that point, I'm discombobulated because I'm laughing and crying at the same time. But that gave me a sense of peace. It was like, it's going to be okay. You know, it's really going to be okay. So that's one story that where you know you impacted somebody's life. I feel like there are so many other stories where you don't even know that you're impacting their lives, because 9 times out of 10, they may not be telling you. They just may be like, wow, that was really amazing. And I think I want you to tell the story of how you helped people save their jobs. I want you to dive into that, because so many times, like I said when I introduced you, when we say what we want to be when we grow up, nobody looks into customer service as a gift, and it is. So your gift allowed you to help nations, like you saving people jobs, they're saving their household, they're allowed to live a life. So I want you to dive more into that process of how you would get these people in the first place, and when you save their job, how do they react to that, and how you react to that.
Wow, it's really a privilege to help people, especially when they're on a final and about to lose their job. So when they come to me, they know this is the end. And the way I approach them is I just want you to listen to how I do it on the phone, how I carry myself on the phone. And I just want you to notice the flow that I have. And they noticed it and they said, wow, you really good. Wow, people just take to you. I said, you know, that is my niche. That is me. That's my personality. I said, you can use some of what I do. And I said, that is fine. You can copy everything I say, but what I want you to do is learn it and then put your personality in it. You know, that's just me. That's how I do. Now, after you get it down, I want you to do you. I want to see your personality come out of this. And I had to let them know the things that they were doing. And I started it myself. When I first started there, it was a little different for me from the tech field that I came from and managing the way I did from the company I came from to this company. And it took me a year and I was frustrated. My supervisor would tell me, Ed, relax, enjoy. He said, believe me, people don't get it. The light bulb doesn't come on to six months to a year. He said, don't be hard on yourself. Relax and enjoy. Make the mistakes. That's fine. That's what we're here for. But I want you to enjoy it. The light bulb will come on. I promise you. I didn't believe it at first. You know, I was panicking. I'm going to lose this job. I'm going to lose this job. Then I started talking into, no, I'm not going to lose this job. I'm going to make this happen. And I started to relax. I started to understand what he was saying. And it was over 6 months. It was closer to a year before I got it. And once I did, it was my duty from there, the way he helped me, I was going to help the next person. And out of all the people that I helped, they kept their jobs and a lot of them went on to leadership roles. And that makes me feel good. And I see them today and they say, hey, man, I appreciate you, man. You saved me. I said, no, you saved yourself. I said, I'm just glad I could help.
So the thing is, customer service is not just for business and external. Customer service is internal as well. And when I'm saying internal, good customer service in between you and I and our relationship is us serving as Christ would want us to serve one another. But then also in your job, it's not just to your external customer, it's also to your coworkers and helping them excel as well.
Yes, that is so true.
Wow. So even if we don't have a business, even if we're not business owners, we're still called to the ministry of customer service.
Yes.
So that means in our friendships, in our families, all of that can be a way that we serve others. Is that
Right.
what you're telling me?
Yes. And if you don't mind, I would like to read this, and it hits home.
Okay, let's read it.
It's 1 Peter 4:10, and it states, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as God's stewards of God's varied grace. And that hits home because the gift that he gives you, it could be customer service, it could be management, it could be anything. But you're here to serve one another as good stewards of God with various grace.
So at what point did you realize that your gift was customer service? Because you've had the supervisor roles, the director roles, the manager roles, but at what point did you realize all of that is good, I loved it, but customer service, that's when you take all the layers off, when you take all the titles off, at the core is customer service. How long did it take for you to realize that in your 20 plus years of experience?
Well, to let you know, well, you already know I am a late bloomer. I'm stubborn and I can really be stubborn. So I wanted to do what Ed wanted to do and reach these goals and all these accolades and titles. And that was great. Don't get me wrong, that it was great. It was a great ride on that. But somehow God kept placing me in customer service role to serve others. And I say my transition from my last job to this job was the start. And once I transferred over to this job where I am now, it took me about 3 years to realize and work at it, to really work at it. And I said, why this? I said, I was over there and I was, doing this and I was doing that and I was making this amount. And now, I'm making less, and I had to humble myself. I was asked a question, um, what are you making now? I said, zero. What did they offer you? Oh, they offered me this. Is it more than zero? I'm like, yes. Okay, yeah, you're right. So I had to humble myself, and God made me humble myself to realize his message to me. And I said, oh, the light bulb went on.
Oh,
So I started perfecting. I started listening, really listening. Old wise owl sat on the oak, and I had to listen. The less I spoke. So once I did that and perfected, I got better. The money got better. Positions got better, and everything fell in place. It was more than what I expected and more than I deserved. But it all fell in place once I started listening to his message and his guidance.
I love that. I love it. So, what customer service jewels you would drop in our crowns? And you can broaden your response not just to someone in business, but even from a relationship standpoint. Because now I'm thinking about customer service as a way to better your relationships and serve others, especially when you're seeking your courtship, or when you're getting engaged, or when you're getting married. Like, if you look at that from a customer service standpoint, you literally just have to ask yourself, am I providing good customer service or bad customer service to my spouse?
Right.
That would I come back? Am I getting the type of service that will make me come back? Like that's different. That's real different. So I want you to drop some customer service jewels for individuals that have organizations, businesses, but also for individuals that could be in management level. And then for the individuals where they have relationships, and that's all of us. We all have relationships. So I want you to drop some customer service jewels in our crown for those different sets of people.
Okay.
Okay.
My first would be attention to detail. Listen to your customers. Listen. Humble yourself and listen to what they say. It will help your business. It will help you as a person. But humble yourself and listen. And I think number two, always follow up with your customers. If you have a base of customers and you provided a service for them or a product, get back with them. Ask them how the product is. Is it working out for you? Is it still, what we promised you it would be? Or hey, how was that service that we provided? Did it help you in your business? They will let you know. Feedback is good. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn out thing, but just to hear the person that you bought a service or product from get back with you and asking this, wow, well, yes, it's great. I thank you. And that makes a difference. So keep a rapport with your customers. And last one, if you ever lose customers, don't be afraid to go back and get them. Retention. There's nothing wrong with retention. It doesn't hurt. Talk to them, see what the differences were, make it good, or it may not work, but try. You may get that customer back and the rest of his family. You never know until you try.
I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. Thank you for saying yes.
Ooh,
Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. So, how can people connect with you?
all righty. That's why I started Long Table Services. You can get with me or at me at edknox at longtableservices.com. Ask me any questions, anything. Let me know about customer service or help me with customer service that I can do better. I'd be glad to hear from you. Once again, that's at edknox at longtableservices.com.
Okay, so what I'm also going to do is make sure I put that in your bio. That way people can connect with you and reach out to you. But I'm appreciative of you for saying yes to share customer service jewels and add those jewels within our crowns, because we can have businesses, but if we don't have good customer service, those people are going to have bad experiences, and our business, like you say, will ultimately suffer. And then when you look at it from a kingdom standpoint, that's not how Jesus would want us to live our lives. So I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for dropping these jewels in our crowns and my crown. And I'm looking forward to all that you're going to accomplish with Long Table Services.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it.